In our focus later in the half hour, a Boy Scout troop from Greece is placing American flags on the graves of 5,000 deceased veterans at Holy Sepulchre Cemetery. It fulfills a wish from deceased Scoutmaster Mike Civiletti, who was killed by a drunk driver. 5,000 flags, if you can imagine that, it's quite a feat. And we will have that coming up. But first, we're going to be cutting for a cure. An Irondequoit hair salon is cutting hair to benefit the Cured Childhood Cancer Association in Rochester. I'm pleased to be joined by Holly Dutcher, who is organizing this, along with Diva Hair Salon hair designers on East Ridge Road, and Brian Worth, who is Executive Director of Cured Childhood Cancer. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, this is your second annual, I guess. How did it go last year, and why are you doing this?
Last year was very successful. We ended up raising collected 35 ponytails, so we were very thrilled with the way that went, and we're hoping for just as much success this year as well.
What was the impetus for you?
I've always volunteered my whole life, and I ended up finding the Cured Childhood Cancer Association on the Community Wish Book, which lists different organizations in Rochester that you can volunteer at. And I found Cure, and they can't get rid of me. I just keep coming back.
Well, Brian, thanks for being with us this morning. Tell us about Cured Childhood Cancer. It's a local organization, right?
It's a local organization. It's been around for over 36 years. It was founded in 1976 by a group of parents who actually lost their children to cancer. And their philosophy, their vision was not to have any parents in the future go through this journey alone. So they created Cure, and today we are an organization that provides emergency financial assistance. One of the little things we do, but it really is a big thing, is we pay for the parking when you're at the hospital. So we save families up to $75,000, $80,000 a year in parking while they're either inpatient or going through outpatient treatment at Golisano Children's Hospital.
And I would guess with multiple trips, that could add up. It would just be an annoyance that on top of all the other things that they're going through.
It can be. The childhood diagnosis is a 2-year protocol. So you may be inpatient for a month or 45 days, but then you're on a 2-year protocol where you're in the clinic once, twice, 3, sometimes 5 times a week over the course of 2 years. It adds up very quickly.
How much money did you raise last time? You said $6,000?
$6,000.
What does it mean to your organization to have a fundraiser like this, raise that kind of money?
Well, you know, it's really pretty amazing. You know, Holly and Nicole are 2 of our superstar volunteers. They really engage in the process. They work very hard. And to have that kind of money come in, we're a pretty small organization. We raised about $395,000 a year. So $6,000 means an awful lot to our families. You know, it helps us either with parking or emergency financial assistance or with our meal voucher program, where we actually pay for the meals for the moms and dads that are in the hospital bedside with their children.
And you mentioned Nicole. Who's that?
Nicole is a stylist at Diva Hair Designers in Irondequoit, and she helped to orchestrate this event as well.
That's Nicole Gonzalez?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I had a chance to talk to her last week. So how does it work? Say somebody's out there and they have thinking about getting their hair cut and they'd like to come in and do this.
Well, I'd like to say first off, it's not that bad. I cut 10 inches off of my hair about 3 days ago, so it's not too bad. People can come in and receive 50% off of salon services. Because the stylists are all volunteering their time that day, that's 100% donation to the Cured Childhood Cancer Association. We also have different activities for kids. We have different Rochester mascots that are going to be coming to the event that day. We also have clowns, and we have about 15 different vendors that are coming from around the Rochester area. Some of them make handmade goods, some of them are different consultants for different companies, and they're all offering 20% of the proceeds from that day to the Cured Childhood Cancer Association.
And we're going to have this information up on the screen for those of you at home if you'd like to get a pen and paper to write this information down. How does it make you feel? You got your hair cut. You grew it long. How long did it take you to grow it?
2 years. I donated 2 years ago, this past year.
So you've been growing your hair for 2 years to donate it for cancer.
Yes, sir.
And you don't have to cut all your hair off.
No, you don't.
If you just want to get a haircut or style or whatever you want, you come down to Diva Hair Salon next Sunday. They will give you a haircut. They will do whatever you need to do.
$10 manicures. I mean, you can't beat that.
And the proceeds go to Cure.
Mm-hmm. How do your member families, do they take part in this as well?
They absolutely do. We get a number of our families that go down and take part. You'll see a lot of our kids, our families and our kids down there because it's really an event. It's not just getting your hair cut, but As she said, there's fun activities, there's vendors, there's all kinds of wonderful things that you can take part in. So it's not just about haircuts.
Hey, why don't we put that information up on the screen now for anybody at home that would like to help this worthy cause. It's the second annual Cutting for a Cure, next Sunday, June 2nd, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diva Hair Designers. Now, this is 1845 East Ridge Road for people that might not be familiar. Is that near Goodman, Culver?
It's right in between Goodman and Culver, across from Planet Fitness.
Right, across from Planet Fitness. You can't go wrong. You can find that. So, if somebody's coming up on the expressway, they could get off either one of those exits.
Correct.
And find that. And there's the web address as well. Now, let's put up also the Cure Childhood Cancer information. Brian, how many fundraisers like this do you rely on through the year?
Oh, we rely on quite a few. We have 4 or 5 fundraisers that we do ourselves, but what's really nice is, and heartwarming, is when you have people who just care in this community that want to do a fundraiser for us, and the proceeds go to Cure.
What is the prognosis for children who are diagnosed with cancer today versus, I don't know, pick a date, 10 years ago?
It's extremely much better. It's about an 84% cure rate, which is really good. The doctors and the people that are researching childhood cancer are really doing a fantastic job in trying to come up with protocols and treatments to help these kids survive and live, productive, wonderful lives.
Mm-hmm. And as we see with this tragedy out in Oklahoma this past week, when so many of those children perished in that tornado, we could not help them, but we can help these kids.
Absolutely. I think something that's great about Cure is that you're helping local families. You could be helping your neighbor. And I think that's really important to remember, that this money's all staying local and helping people in this community.
All right, it's Cutting for a Cure, June 2nd, Diva Hair Salon, 1800 block of East Ridge Road. It's going to benefit Cure Childhood Cancer.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Holly Dutcher and Brian Worth.
Thank you.
When we come back,